Basta ayaw niya. Nabubuisit siya sa akin. Nung manalo si Pino, nabasa ko si Jaro, I read in the papers that Pino wanted him to be the DILG chief. At tinanggihan niya. So, I bought a ticket, flew to Davao. Sabi ko, Andre, mag-usap tayo. So, pinunta ko siya sa bahay. Sabi ko, tangkapin mo yung DILG. Ayoko, Andre, sabi niya, dito lang ako sa, mayor lang ako. Hindi ko, ayoko na national. Dahil sabi, 3 hours ko kami nagkikwentuhan, gusto palagi ko, pero tanggapin mo na kasi. Nabuisit niya na sa akin, bakit ba? Why do you want me to accept the DILG? Because I want you to be the president of this country. I want to lay the foundation for that. Pag DILG ka, all over the Philippines, kung natin mga mayors, kakatanim ka na. Tigilan mo na yan sa PI, sabi niya. Ayoko. Gusto ko na mag-retire. So, ayun, matatapos ngayon yung Pinoy. Kaya ito na. Eh, hindi naman ako mapigil. So, for every invitation sa akin, sa Rotary, kahit saan sa lugar, nilalabas ko yun. Sa mga interviews. So, eto na yan. It caught fire. Tumalon na ngayon si Duresa, tumalon na sila Tulfo. Madaling sabi, epidemic na. Tapos, nilakad niya yung federation ng federalism. And then every time he went around town discussing this federalism, he was being asked by media, "Are you running for president?" "No, I'm not running." Paulit-ulit yun, "No, I'm not running." Ang ginawa ko minsan, inaantay ko siya nung nag-isa sa Kiboy Abunda, if you remember that. Inulit niya naman, "No, I'm not running." Gumawa ako ng article sa kanya. Habang inaantay ko siya dahil may dinner kami. Tapos ko yung article, pagdating niya ako, basahin mo. Ito, sagot ko sa'yo. Kinover ko siya, cover story ko siya sa opinion. Ito, sagot ko doon sa "No, I'm not running." Ang title ko, cover, "No is yes!" Lumabas sa TV, sa news. "No is yes." Pinaliwanag ko sa programa ni Karen Davila. Sabi ko, this man keeps on saying that he's not running for president, and yet, listen to his speeches. He gives us a glimpse of what he will do as president of the land. He is running for president. His body language says so. He has an appointment with history and a date with destiny. He will run and he will win landslide. O yun, nagkagulo na. Dahil sabi, lahat gustong-gusto talaga. Talaga namang gusto, kahit sino gusto siya. Ang problema, ayaw niya. And he really was and still is very sincere. In fact, sa cabinet meeting, he tells us, "My greatest regret is to accept to run for president and win the presidency." Tapos nagtatago na ako kasi ako na sisisihin niya. Pag nabubuisit siya, kasi kagat-kagat na nga naman ang buhay niya. Pakat-takat lang kami doon. Pagkatapos, eto siya ngayon. Ang problema ng bayan, ang laki. Kaya yung pagmumura niya, huwag na ako kayo magtaka, talagang mapapamura ka talaga sa problema ng bansa ito. So anyway, naging presidente na nga siya. 3 lang ho ang sinasabi niyang paulit-ulit when he was presidential candidate. Pag tinatanong ko kasi siya, ano ba plataforma ng gobyerno mo kung ikaw ay maging presidente? Sabi niya, isa lang. There is only one. And that is, what the law is, you follow it. Comply with the law. Because dito sa ating bansa, nagiging optional. Kung makalulusot, nagpapalusot. Hindi talaga sumusunod sa batas. And then sabi niya, magpo-focus ako sa 3: corruption, criminality, and drugs. At nakita niyo naman nun, first year pa lang, nasyang tayong lahat. Yung palang drug menace natin such a magnitude na parang incredible. Pero mo, ilang daang libo ang sumuko. How many drug addicts surrendered? make it almost 1 million. Pagkatapos, ay patungay ito si Mike Rama, pero wala, napasama pa ito. Ang problema naman kasi ito sa listahan na binigay, sinama na rin yung mga kalaban nila sa politika, di ba? Alam naman, syempre, hindi mo naman isa-isayin yun. But anyway, si Presidente naman, pag nagkamali, sinasabi niya naman. Yung kriminalidad natin, nakita niyo naman kung mga tao ngayon, pag kinakausap niyo, sabi niya, ang laki ng pinagbabago. Madali sabi, we have this kind of president, which I don't think we will be having for the next 100 years. A man who is not only does he have a political will, this man is so honest, not a trace of corruption during his tenure in office as mayor. He's a person who has no sense of entitlement. He doesn't even want to be called president. He doesn't even want to use the word excellency. Tapos kami mga cabinet members niya, pinasasakay niya lang kami sa Innova. Hindi pa kami pwedeng sumakay ng business class. Ayaw niya. Gusto niya simple lang lahat. And eto pa ang isa. Ibang klase ito. Because he couldn't care less whether he dies in office, he is assassinated, he dies because of an ailment, or he is impeached. Wala ko siyang pakialam. Sabi niya palagi ganito, there is only one underlying principle and rule that I will follow as president of the land. And that is the Constitution, and I swore to that, states the primary function of a government, which I had, is to serve and to protect the people. Kaya yan lang ang gagawin ko. Serve and protect the people. Wala nang iba. Patayin niyo na ako, ikulong niyo na ako, gagawin ko, wala akong pakialam sa inyo. Let me share to you one incident that will show the character of this man. National Security Meeting. Narinig niyo ba? Nagkaroon ng National Security Meeting. 4 ang presidenteng nandun. Si Erap, si Arroyo, Ramos, and Pinoy. Nandun yung Senate President, Pimentel, nandun si Alvarez, mga senador, tapos lahat ka ng cabinet members. We were talking about the convention. Sabi niya, kailangan talaga magpalit tayo ng constitution. During the campaign, I was saying that we should have a constitutional convention. Pero nung sinabihan ako na, Mr. President, 16 billion ang magagastos natin sa constitutional convention. Sabi ko, sarili ko na, ba't naman ako gagastos? Binigay ko na lang sa tao yun. Ang daming projects na po pwede. So I thought to myself, ano na lang, constituent assembly na lang, mga miyembro ng Kongreso. Tapos sinabi niya ako doon sa nakaharap niya na, ni isa sa inyo rito, sa totoo lang, walang tumulong sa akin sa kampanya. Lahat kayo kontra sa akin. I don't owe anything to any one of you. I owe my presidency to the Filipinos. So, ang pakiusap ko lang sa inyo. Paglalaban ko na Constituent Assembly para baka menos gastos tayo. Of course, maraming kumukontra. Sinasabi sa akin, vested interest yan. I don't think they will revise the Constitution against their interest. Kaya nakakausapin ko na po kayo ngayon. Lahat sila siyempre nakikinig. Please, pag ginawa niyo sa Ligang Batas, the Constitution, please, ang isipin niyo lang the interest of the Filipinos. Ngayon lang. Anyway, kayo naman hindi nyo lang masabi, kumita naman mga paano. Pwede ba? Yun na. Interest ng bayan. Tapos suminto siya, nag-post. Kilala ko na ko si Presidente. Sabi ko, may bomba ito, sigurado kayo dyan. Sabi ng Presidente. Kasi, pag gumawa kayo ng saligang batas na labag sa interest ng taong bayan, nag-post na siya, putang ina nyo. Tangke, padadala ko sa Kongreso. Pasasarado ko kayo. Wala sila. Sa harap ng 4 na presidente, shock sila lahat. Tapos, usapan na ulit. Ganoon si Presidente. Kaya ibang klase nga ito. Kaya maraming nangangamba. Pero, lalo na yung sa martial law. But you know, I've been telling the media and the people who fears na baka magkaroon na ng batas militar all over. Baka daw maulit yung Marcos. Sabi ko, hindi yung mangyayari. Unang-una, ang daming safeguards ng konstitusyon. Pangalawa, sabi ko, this president is a lawyer and he observes law to the letter pa. Why? Aba, under the Constitution, you can only declare martial law in case of invasion or rebellion when public safety requires it. You cannot declare martial law even if there is invasion or rebellion if public safety is not in danger. Kaya siya nag-declare sa Mindanao may rebellion. Hindi ko naman maintindihan yung isang justice, wala daw rebellion, Diyos ko sira-sira ng Ampung Marawi City, wala pa daw rebellion. So sabi ko, he followed the Constitution. He declared martial law on the basis of actual rebellion. He didn't say, I'm declaring martial law because of drug menace. He didn't say that. Number two, what did he do? The Constitution says, the moment you declare martial law, within 48 hours, you report to Congress, whether in writing or orally. He did that. So he complied again. Now, when he wanted extension, ano sabi ng Constitution? Humingi ka ng extension sa Kongreso. Hindi nung ginawa niya. So, sa lahat ng presidente, lahat nga ng sinasabi ng saligang batas, ay sinusunod niya. Ba't sabi niya, I will ignore Congress, I will ignore the Supreme Court, pag hindi sila pumayag. Hindi yun. Ang ibig lang mo sabihin, kasi sinasabi niya, I'll just listen to the AFP. Ang ibig lang mo sabihin ni Presidente, Supreme Court, Congress, when I declare martial law, and I tell you that the reasons why, the wherefores, the wherewithals, pakinggan nyo, bigyan nyo ng premium, bigyan nyo ng value. Sapagat yung nagbibigay ng informasyon sa akin, yun ang mga players in the unfolding drama of the rebellion. Sila ang pinaka-honest at pinaka-trustworthy panggagalingan ng source ng information. Kayo wala naman kayo doon. Yung mga kumukonta, wala. During the Supreme Court hearing, yung mga petitioners na nagpunta ba kayo sa Marawi? Hindi. Paano nyo nalaman wala rebellion doon? Hindi sila makasagot. So, madalit sabi, alam nyo yung mga nangangamba, we cannot let fear determine the future of this country. Kailangan maging matapang tayo. Suportahan natin itong presidente. At in-interview ako sa BBC. Ang aking argumento, paano ko daw mababalidate yung martial law? Ay, kuya, sabi ko, kasing tanong yan. Martial law has been validated by no less than the Supreme Court of the land. Validated also by both houses of Congress. And moreover, validated by an overwhelming majority of Filipinos approving martial law. Ano ba bang gusto nyo? Kaya, wag mo tayo mangamba. At wag natin, ang problema ho dito kasi sa mga kumukontra, and for that matter, siguro lahat ng mga may apprehension. Let us not forget that all of us are parts of one whole. Every movement of one part will affect the entire whole. Lahat po tayo ay bahagi ng kabuuan. Ang kalingkingan, ang sakit ng kalingkingan ay dama ng buong katawan. The failure of this president will be the failure of all of us. His success will be success to all of us too. Kaya, binutuhan natin, supportahan po natin siya. Ang aking worry lang ay ang kanyang kalusugan, ang kanyang baka siya patayin. So, at every speech I have, I end this way. I appeal to you. I plead to you, ladies and gentlemen. Let us pray for this man. Let us pray to the Almighty that He sends all His angels and spread their wings to protect this man, to shield this president from injury, from ailment, from accident, from assassination, para he can last his presidency. Because I think this president will become in history as the greatest president that we ever had. Thank you very much.
The plaque of appreciation presented to Secretary Attorney Salvador S. Panelo, Chief Presidential Legal Counsel of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. In grateful appreciation and recognition for invaluable services rendered to the Rotary Club of Metro Cebu as honored guest, keynote speaker during the 39th induction of officers and board of directors and turnover ceremony held at Marco Polo Plaza Hotel, Cebu Veterans Drive, Needle Hill, Cebu City, given this 20th day of July, 2017 at Cebu City, Philippines. Signed, Dr. Marjorie Ann L. Bernardo, President, Rotary Club Metro Cebu, Rotary Year 2017-2018.
Okay, and we'll be right back.